giving me an opportunity to participate in this Delhi Municipal Corporation Amendment Bill 2022. Sir, it is very sad to see the Treasury benches always complaining about the Congress party for whatever problems are being faced in the country now. I think it is almost more than 7 years since this new government has been in place, and I feel that probably this is a time where you have to look forward saying how best we can take the country forward rather than to look back and say that Congress has been the root cause for all evil in this country. So we have to understand that Congress has done some amount of development for the since freedom, till you came to power. And in between there was Vajpayee government also which was there. And subsequently now you are here with a huge majority, sir. I wish to congratulate you on that. But having said that, we have to see how we can go forward instead of complaining about how the Congress government has ruined it. In fact, one of my friends, I have a few friends in BJP also, while we were sitting and talking casually, he said during the COVID, we were talking about the COVID and the management of the COVID by this government. And surprisingly, he said the cost for COVID in India is because of the Congress. So for a second, I was taken aback, surprised, shocked. I was wondering, what is he talking about? So I asked him, what are you saying? Where did the coronavirus come from? He said it came from China. I said, how did it come in? It came through the flights. So who is controlling the government operating these flights? It's the BJP. Then how do you say it's the Congress government which is the root cause for all this? Who built the airports? So he says the Congress government built the airports and that's why the coronavirus has come into India. So this is the way, if you are going to be talking, I turned 50 in 2019-20, sir. And I think probably even Rahul ji also would have turned, and our Honorable Prime Minister also would have turned 70. There are times when I get a doubt, probably we would not have turned 50 or 70 had it not been for the BJP. Maybe I would have been hanging on at 49 till the Congress, as long as the BJP government hadn't come. So this is the kind of conversations are we trying to have. And this bill, the way it has been brought and the content of this bill, this shows the government's total apathy towards, any kind of norms which have to be followed, sir. Every other bill, there may be an argument, there is probably a reason and a good intention behind the bringing of this bill. But in this particular bill, the way it was brought, on March 9th or so, there was an announcement from the Delhi Election Commission stating that he is calling for a press conference. On the same day, he gets a letter saying that this election should be postponed because we are planning to bring in a bill this way. So what is the urgency to bring in a bill in this form? When the election is supposed to be happening in April 2022, what is the urgency or the necessity to do it in such a fashion where 1 month before, this is a kind of a semi-emergency, sir. You are bringing in a rule where you are saying that the elections are not going to happen, and if the elections do not happen, the reason why it is not going to happen is because BJP has been ruling this corporation for more than 15 years. And probably the election results may not be in the favor of the BJP, and that is the reason, there is a suspicion that that is the reason why this bill is being brought. Because if this bill is brought, and delimitation has to be done. Because in this bill, the main things that you are talking about is, you are reducing the number of seats from 272 to 250. So there is an assumption that this government is planning to increase the number of members of parliament in the country. But whereas when you're trying to do that, probably you are justified in doing that. But what is the justification we can find for reducing the number of councillors who are existing from 270 to 250? What was the need to reduce when the whole country, the population is increasing and we need probably more representatives for a given set of population? We are reducing the number of councillors. Is in no way we can understand why it is happening. No logic. There is absolutely no logic in this, sir. And the other one is the bill which made the possibility of trifurcation of this corporation was brought in by the DMCA, by the Delhi Legislative Assembly, sir, in 2011. It's hardly 10 years now, and within the 10 years, again we are going back. The Supreme Court had already made an observation saying that this government is bringing in bills without putting much thought into it, which is causing a lot of confusions and recalling of bills. Even the farm bills, we were forced to recall because of the huge protest by the farmers. Similarly, when the Delhi government had trifurcated it, I feel that there probably must have been a reason why they trifurcated. Has anybody looked into that? I will give you a small example about my corporations. When I am in Chennai, we have 3 parliamentary constituencies in that, but it's a single corporation. But the fund allocation, which was close to 1,900 crores for Chennai, I will say that during the previous ADMK government, 1,000 crores was spent on South Chennai, about 850 crores was spent on Central Chennai, and North Chennai had only about 25 to 50 crores of funding allocated for this. This was a very unjust way, and we had made several representations because my constituency is the most economically and socially backward. So similarly in Delhi, they have brought in a situation where they had 3 corporations, and they had an understanding where there will be an officer who will be coordinating with these 3 corporations to make sure the toll tax collections will be equally distributed and all those things. And also the powers of the Delhi government. Through this bill, the powers which have been removed are the total number of seats and the reservation of seats was with the Delhi government, division to zones and wards and delimitation, relating to salaries, allowances, leave of the commissioner, and the main thing in this is building regulation. Do you want to say that the union government wants to take the powers of a corporation also and keep running that also? And the other fear that we have, if you are going to set a precedent of taking up this corporation now, what assurances do we have that this is not going to happen to other corporations throughout the country? There are several corporations all over the country, and what will give us the confidence that you will not take up any of these corporations in future? And also, it has been shown that the delimitation process takes a minimum of 16 to 18 months. Already, as my earlier speaker, Mr. Manish Tiwari had spoken, he had said by delimitation, what statistics are we going to take? Are we going to take statistics from the 2011 census, or are we going to say that we are going to wait for the 22-23 census and then go forward? That way, I feel that the parliament elections may happen even before your Delhi corporation elections can happen. So I think this is a very unjust way and a cruel way of treating the people of Delhi. And 2024, even then, we do not know for sure whether the elections ever will be conducted in the Delhi corporation ever again. So the bill also omits for the provision of director for local bodies, sir. So the role of the director was to coordinate between the corporations, framing recruitment rules for various posts, toll tax collection and sharing, sir. This special officer is not mentioned at all, and till further election, only the special officer is going to be there. There is no provision for a role of a director, and it has not been defined at all. Sir, I will tell you, in Tamil Nadu, we went through a phase where for 4 years, we did not have our corporation local body elections. And though the people were asking for it, because the council is the... Sir, 1 minute, sir, 1 minute, sir, I'll just finish. Sir, for 4 years, we did not have elections, and one of the problems is if there is a special officer, funding from the union government to the individual wards may be an issue. So in these kind of situations, for the government to have taken a decision 1 month before the scheduled elections are supposed to happen, that you have brought this bill and you are thwarting the whole election process is actually very, very sad and pathetic, sir. Sir, the other one is from... So regarding the funding also, Manish Tiwari also had mentioned about this. Between 2010 and 2011, 1,465 crores was provided for the Delhi Corporation. Between 2014 and 2015, 4,380 crores was provided, and during 2021-22, the amount provided under the Aam Aadmi Party government is 6,172 crores, sir. So when the government has already provided a substantial amount, if you felt that the amount needed for the local bodies was not adequate, it would have been easily possible for you to provide that allocation. You could have made an extra allocation of the whatever funds was needed. In fact, in earlier one of my speeches also I was talking about, I don't know about the Delhi corporation, but several corporations in the country, the elected representatives are working without a salary. So I would request that the government take this opportunity to see if the salaries for the local bodies across the country can be paid by the union government substantially, say about 70 or 80%, and the remaining percentage can be paid by the local governments from the state, sir. They are... Yeah, they are working without salary, yes. I am saying that they also should be provided salary. Sir,
Yes,
sir, the other question is about the garbage, sir. If you look at all the municipal corporations, sir, 1 minute, sir, 1 minute. Sir,
the intervention of the minister during the debate is good for the House.
Sir,
Normally ministers are not intervening. That is the problem.
Sir,
intervention of the ministers during the debate so as to give more clarification is good.
thank you, sir. Sir, the other one is every municipal corporation, I mean like every state have their municipal corporations and they have their own host, which is one of the biggest problems which they face is their garbage dump yards, sir. In fact, if you look in Delhi and even in Chennai, there will be acres of garbage piled up to about 13 or 14 floors high. So I feel that the government of India can create a separate fund for modernization of these garbages, because when I approached the union government to help on this, using a process called as biomining, 600 crores is the budget required. As an individual parliamentary constituency, the government cannot, or as an MLA constituency or as a ward, we will not be able to fund it unless the union government steps in over here, sir. So the BJP government, which has been ruling the Delhi Corporation for more than 15 years, the achievement what they have done is leaving 3 garbage mountains at the entrance of Delhi, dilapidated government hospitals which are not being adequately cared for, selling government property at throwaway prices, sir. So I totally oppose this bill, and I hope that the government will withdraw this bill and ensure that fair elections are held next month to ensure that democracy is saved, sir. Thank you very much.